You know that feeling when you grab a bargain outdoor chair, set it up for a weekend barbecue, and within a few sunny days the frame starts to rust and the seat looks like a wilted plant? It's a classic buyer's regret story. You thought you were saving money, but the disappointment ends up costing you more in replacement trips and wasted space. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last couple of weeks swapping out my old plastic loungers for a brand new set that promises a little more style and a lot more durability. The thing that kept me from just buying the cheapest set on the shelf was the fear of ending up with a pile of metal that squeaks every time you shift weight or a cushion that cracks after the first summer. So I dug into the category a bit, read through the few reviews that were actually written, and tried to map what real families and poolside loungers need versus what most budget options deliver. First off, the Purple Leaf set is a quartet of white lounge chairs that combine a woven PU leather surface with an aluminum frame that's marketed as rust-proof. The design leans into a rectangle armrest that feels a little like a modern sofa, and the backrest can be locked into 5 positions, from a laid-back recline to a more upright posture for reading. On paper, it looks like the kind of set you'd see at a boutique resort, not a typical backyard. Who should consider this set? If you have a medium-sized patio, a pool deck, or a garden that gets a decent amount of sun, and you want a coordinated look that doesn't scream discount store, this could be a match. The chairs are light enough to move around, but sturdy enough to stay put on a wooden deck without wobbling. Families with kids who like to climb on furniture will appreciate the metal frame's resistance to accidental dents, and anyone who enjoys spending an hour or two outdoors with a book will like the 5-position back. It's easy to find that sweet spot where the neck isn't strained. On the flip side, if you're looking for a low-maintenance option that can survive a hurricane-force windstorm, or you plan to store the chairs in a garage for the winter, you might want to look elsewhere. The PU leather, while smoother than a traditional woven fabric, does show water spots if you don't dry it quickly after a rain. And because the frame is aluminum, the chairs are lighter than steel alternatives, which means they can be nudged around more easily by strong gusts. Now, let's talk about the day-to-day experience. I set up the 4 chairs on a concrete patio, placed a couple of outdoor cushions on top, optional, but they add a splash of color, and spent a Saturday sunbathing while the kids played nearby. The first thing I noticed was how the woven PU leather feels under your skin. It's cool to the touch when the sun isn't beating down, and it warms up nicely as the day heats. Unlike a typical mesh chair that can feel like a net, the surface here offers a gentle give that distributes weight evenly, which is a subtle but real comfort factor when you're lying flat for an hour. Adjustability is where the set shows its practical side. The backrest lever clicks into place with a soft thunk, and each position stays firm even when you shift around. I tried the most reclined angle while reading a paperback, and the chair held the angle without sagging. That same recline also makes it easy to get a quick nap without feeling like you're slipping forward. When I switched to a more upright position to sip a cold drink and chat with a neighbor, the armrest stayed aligned and didn't tilt inward, something you sometimes see on cheaper models where the arm is just a piece of plastic. One hidden trade-off is the weight capacity. The manufacturer lists a decent limit, but in practice the chair feels sturdy up to about 250 pounds. Beyond that, the frame starts to flex slightly, especially when you sit near the edge. If you have a larger build or often host guests who like to lounge heavily, you might want to keep that in mind. The rectangle armrest design is a visual plus, but it also means there's less room to drape a blanket over the side without it slipping off. I found that a fitted throw works better than a loose one. Rust resistance is a claim that usually gets tested after a season of exposure. After 3 weeks of rain, dew, and occasional splashes from the pool, the aluminum frames showed no signs of orange staining. The powder coat finish seems to have held up, and the joints where the backrest pivots didn't develop any corrosion. That's encouraging for anyone who lives in a humid coastal area where plain steel chairs often turn green within months. Another practical note is assembly. The chairs come in a flat pack box with all the hardware labeled and a straightforward instruction sheet. 2 people can put 1 chair.